With progress made so far, solving, rewriting formulas and equations, now we want to take on questions with squares and denominators. Remember when we're solving the one with addition, subtraction, and stuff like that? Now we want to make progress right now to tackle things like this. So how do we solve problems of this nature? So this is what I'm going to do. For number 1, I'm going to solve for m, and I'm also going to solve for n. So variable m and variable n will be made the formula for number 1. And I will try the first part of number 2. We are working with a variable m and variable u. So I will start the first one and I will leave the second one to you. So let's get started. How are we going to tackle this? So we have number 1, d is equals to 1 over 2 m n squared. So with this, we can rewrite d as d is equals to m n squared over 2. This makes it very easier for us to manage. So for us to go further, we want to determine the lowest common multiple here. And the only number we have is 2. So what do we do with 2? We are going to multiply both sides. So multiply both sides by 2. So we do that by 2. We do this, 2 times d and 2 times m n squared over 2. So in this instance, we have 2 over 1 times 1 over 2. Definitely, they will cancel out. So that takes care of that. So we come in here and say 2d is equals to m n squared, because these 2 will cancel out. 2 divided by 2 will give us 1. So that takes care of everything. So we come back here, we have 2d is equals to m n squared. And our first goal is to make m, variable m, will be the subject or the formula, subject of formula here. So now, if m is going to be the subject, what do? We have to divide both sides by n squared. So we can do something first by rearranging. So let's rearrange. So rearranging, whereby we have mn squared is equals to 2d. And from there, we can now divide both sides by n squared, because we're going to make variable m the subject of the formula. So in that case, we have mn squared over n squared and 2d over n squared. And with this, we have n squared dividing n squared will be equals to 1. So we have m. So that means this cancel out 1, 1. So we are left with m. So m is equals to 2d over n squared. So this is the new equation or the new formula for this equation. Now, let's take the second one. Now we want to solve for n squared. Please pay attention to it, because you're going to see a new dimension when we have a variable that is squared in this instance. So we have d is equals to half mn squared. So d is equals to mn squared over 2. Just like we did in the prior question, our LCM will be 2, and then we'll multiply both sides by 2. So both sides by 2. And what do we do now? We're going to have 2 times d again, and then 2 times mn squared over 2. Remember what you did over there earlier? 1 over 2. This will cancel out 1, 1 equals to 1. Or we can say 2 over 2 equals 1. So if that works, so we have 2d is equals to mn squared. Now remember, in this instance, we are working with making n squared the subject of the formula. So we're going to have 2d is equals to mn squared. So we are going to divide both sides by m. So divide both sides by m. So that gives us what? We have 2d. So 2d over m, and then mn squared over m. And we can rearrange as well so that we can have a formula in the right order. So rearranging, this now becomes mn squared over m and 2d over m. M will divide m, and that will be 1. So this will cancel out. This is 1, 1. And we are left with n squared is equals to 2d over m. So now we have n squared. But remember, we are looking for variable n, not n squared. Not n squared. So how do we do that? We are going to take the square root of both sides. So us to solve this further, we'll say take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. So what does that become? This becomes square root n squared and square root 2d over m. So when we do that, what becomes of that? Here, this square root from your study of powers and roots, this is a raised to the power of half. So if we have square root of n squared, this will be n squared to the power of half. Remember this rule where we have a raised to power m and 1 over n. And that gives us a raised to power m over n. So in this instance, we apply the same concept. So we have n squared to the power of half and n 2 over 2 and n to the power of 1. So that square root takes this away, and we have n, and we are left with a 2d over m. So therefore, our final answer for variable n, or the formula we just created, will be 2d over m. And now you have the formula. So you can see what you've just done very briefly. So now I want to try this one, but I don't want to run out of time. So let's go to number 3. The one, I want to take the first one first. So 2kr equals to m squared minus u squared. Our goal is to make m the formula. So we want to make m the formula. Now, how do we do that? So let's start with this one, and I will wait for you to do the second one in the next video. So let me quickly run through this. So as you can see here, we have u squared, and we are going to add it to both sides so that we can eliminate it from the right hand side. So now we have 2kr plus u squared is equals to m squared. Remember, from your understanding of sine integers, minus u squared plus u squared will give us 0. So since we are working with m, we can rearrange to put m on the left hand side. So we can just say rearranging. You can work from there if you like, but just to be able to organize our work, we have m squared is equals to 2kr plus u squared. So now, for us to work with m squared to m, we are going to take the square root of both sides. So take the square root. So when we take the square root of both sides, this becomes square root of m squared and square root of 2kr plus u squared. And just like I showed you this rule, a raised to power m 1 over n will become a raised to power m over n. In this instance, we have m squared to the power of half, and that becomes m 2 over 2 and m 1. So this becomes m, and this becomes square root of 2kr plus u squared. If you understand this concept, can you try to use the same approach to solve u squared? And then I'll show you the answer in the next video.
If you find values in these math videos, please subscribe to be notified when the latest videos are uploaded every week. Also, check out the links below this video for more comprehensive math video tutorials to help you with your math studies, or in case you are preparing for your math tests, or any of the math exam listed below. Our goal at Practical Math Academy is to make sure you understand all the math topics you will be evaluated on. Also, see you succeed by practicing sufficient math exercises that will boost your confidence when taking any of these math tests or exams. Our promise is to assure you that when you study these math video tutorials and practice along, it will boost your confidence, help you gain a better understanding of the math concepts discussed, and when you see these questions on the test, you are more confident to apply the skills, and you will come out in flying colors. One of the best ways to consistently benefit is when you subscribe to this channel. You will be notified every week when latest videos are posted. There are additional benefits. We also post solved math questions from weekend revision classes, and you do not want to miss these solutions to past math questions. This gives you insight into how some of these math questions are asked, and how best to answer them under the limited time allowed by the math examiner. Links to comprehensive math video courses are listed below. Please check them out and learn more on how you can take your math understanding to the next level. You can also take our math survey to develop a solid foundation in your understanding of math. Thank you very much for stopping by today.